The year was 1897. Castle Gate, Utah, nestled among towering rock formations, steep cliffs, and vast valleys, seemed an unlikely place for grand tales of crime and betrayal. It was home to miners and the Pleasant Valley Coal Company, a small, thriving operation that provided the lifeblood of the area. Smoke from coal-burning engines filled the air, and the distant sound of pickaxes echoed through the mountains. But Castle Gate held more than just miners and company men. Outlaws roamed the vast expanse, and among the most infamous was Butch Cassidy, a man whose name would go down in American outlaw lore. His gang, Elza Lay, and an enigmatic man known only as Fowler, were both daring and cunning. They moved like shadows across the land, planning their next move in hushed tones around flickering campfires. On April 21st, 1897, the air was thick with anticipation. The payroll for the miners, a hefty $7,000 in cash, was being transported by train and was about to be unloaded near the coal company. Cassidy, Lay, and Fowler had their eyes set on that treasure. The scene was perfectly orchestrated. As the train slowed near Castle Gate, two residents happened to be nearby. Perhaps out of curiosity, perhaps suspicious, but Cassidy and his gang moved with confidence. Elza Lay, skilled with horses and guns, ensured every detail went as planned. Butch Cassidy, wearing his trademark hat and duster coat, took the lead. He dismounted his horse with purpose. Fowler, the quiet but deadly member of the trio, stood ready, his eyes scanning the horizon. They struck swiftly. The payroll was snatched from the train, the cash bags heavy with the miners' hard-earned wages. Cassidy's voice rang out, calm, assured, and commanding, "Let's ride." Without hesitation, they cut the telephone and telegraph lines, effectively cutting off any chance of immediate pursuit. The silence that followed was deafening, but it gave them the crucial head start they needed. The outlaws rode south, their horses kicking up clouds of dust. Two residents followed them at a distance, their eyes wide with both fear and fascination. But Cassidy and his band soon disappeared into the vast wilderness, bound for the infamous Robbers Roost or the winding path of the Outlaw Trail. Lawmen scrambled. Men on horseback galloped toward the scene of the robbery. The telegraph stations, now silent, offered no clue of the gang's direction. The residents who had followed the outlaws returned with little more than second-hand observations and descriptions of distant figures fading into the horizon. But the trail was cold. The terrain of Castle Gate and its surroundings was treacherous, rugged mountains, narrow trails, and dense forest. It was the perfect landscape for escape and concealment. Rumors quickly began to spread. Did Cassidy and his men hide the payroll at Robbers Roost, a notorious outlaw hideout? Or did they stash it somewhere along the Outlaw Trail, a serpentine route known for its secrecy and peril? Whispers of betrayal emerged. Some believed Fowler was a double agent, misleading the others. Others speculated Cassidy took the gold to fund future heists, burying it in an undisclosed location. No evidence surfaced. The money vanished into thin air. Over the decades, Castle Gate underwent a dramatic transformation. By 1974, the once thriving mining town was demolished. Today, the only testament to its existence is a lonely cemetery, where weathered gravestones mark the final resting places of miners and early settlers. But the legend of the stolen payroll lived on. Treasure hunters arrived, spurred by old maps, tales of gold, and cryptic journal entries left behind by aged historians. Some searched near the supposed Rodman School location, believing it held a key clue. Others scoured Robbers Roost, its cavernous cliffs still whispering the secrets of past outlaws. Each expedition ended in frustration, save for the occasional discovery of rusted relics, horseshoes, fragments of old harnesses, a bullet casing here or there. The mystery deepened. Was the treasure still out there, hidden and untouched? Or had the gold been long retrieved by Cassidy's gang and melted into oblivion? In the fall of 2024, a modern-day investigator, Claire Bennett, a historian and adventurer with a relentless curiosity, decided to solve the puzzle once and for all. Driven by childhood stories and a lifelong fascination, she assembled a small but dedicated team. There was Mark Hudson, an experienced metal detectorist in his late 40s with callous hands and a determined gaze. Julia Reyes, a geologist in her early 30s, whose analytical mind left no stone unturned. and Samuel King, a local historian deeply versed in Castlegate's past. They arrived near the cemetery, where the coal company once stood. The terrain was overgrown and silent, untouched by development. Claire unrolled an ancient map, weather but legible, marking possible locations. Step by step, they combed the area. Their metal detectors beeped occasionally, but the signals were faint and inconclusive. Then Mark paused, narrowing in on a particular area where a slight depression in the ground seemed unnatural. The signal grew stronger. Could it be? The team began a meticulous excavation, their hands trembling with both anticipation and reverence. The first few inches revealed nothing but dirt and roots. Hours passed. Suddenly, a faint glimmer. Julia carefully brushed away the remaining soil to reveal the corner of an old, corroded metal box. Claire's breath caught. With painstaking care, they unearthed the entire box. It was heavy, aged beyond recognition, and bound by rusted iron straps. The inscriptions were too worn to read. Inside, old documents, payroll records from 1897, worn but legible, silver coins and fragments of currency notes. No gold bars. The treasure they had hoped for was incomplete, yet the significance of the find was undeniable. The box told a story, one of greed, escape, and loss. The stolen payroll's partial recovery became a historic revelation, drawing attention from museums and scholars. Despite their success, Claire and her team knew the full treasure was not there. The gold remained elusive, hidden by time and perhaps by design. As the sun set over the abandoned cemetery, Claire whispered, "Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. They're meant to endure, because in Castlegate, some secrets remain buried forever."